And we are back. So, last we left off, the Fellowship has managed to track, as best they can, the whereabouts of Seamus MacCready. We have Bragadine, Benoit, and Marius Wolf, along with Tristan DeVry and a ragtag group of remnant Bretonians that are following these three deep into the mountains, where they believe the Vargeist that had captured Seamus at the burning keep of the Benoit family had ventured forward, and it appears to be the destination that they've been tracking all along, as it is in fact the Black Barrows that they are poised to come upon, as Seamus knows all too well, as he's been there for quite some time, and in fact may or may not have been subject to isolation and torture. Recently, having lost all the fingernails on his hand, as well as received a rather grisly wound to his knee, all but crippling the leg. And we're going to pick up with Seamus MacCready. As Seamus, you reawaken. Yeah, you reawaken as, in a similar fashion, you are being drugged under each arm by the grave guard, your captors. With Gaston, you can hear his feet padding behind you. There is a wooden door before you along a long hallway. They open it. One of them reaches out and opens it, brings it forward, and they unceremoniously toss your limp body into the cell. And it is, in fact, your cell. It is circular on the inside, and you know it's yours because you see the dead man laying across the ground. The door quickly shuts and closes, and the window on the door, the small window towards the top with the bars across it, is left open. Gaston's face appears if you were to glance over your shoulder. If not, you'll just simply hear him. Yes. Soon. Very, very soon. I'll be back. Try not to go anywhere. As you hear his cackles as he's walking further and further away. What do you do, Seamus?
Probably kind of sit up, kind of push my way, put my back against the wall, and try to fashion something for my knee if it needs fashioning.
You have an open wound, so yes, you will need something. What are you going to use to fashion this with?
I probably, if time allows, with the lights, see if that my cellmate has anything to wrap it with.
Okay. You know what? Go ahead and give me an intuition test.
That is a 5 out of intuition. 51.
Okay, with a 5. So first off, you glance over the corpse, and now that there's more light in here with the window left open as Gaston did not close it in his negligence, you see that the tattered remnants of the clothing this man was wearing look a little familiar, Seamus. You look over him. The shirt, specifically, looks like something you've seen in several dreams. It is the tattered raiments of an imperial witch hunter. Long dead, it appears. But you begin searching his person, and though he's been here for quite some time, he doesn't appear to have anything on his person as far as anything that might be useful. You do, however, manage to strip away some of his clothing as he's been long dead for some time, and anything that may or may not have been contaminated, surely he's dead by now. At least it's the best you're going to get in this cell. As you rip away a few strips of cloth that you hope wasn't tainted. Go ahead and give me a heal check.
All right. Do I see his hat in the room anywhere?
His hat is not present, but you recognize the shirt.
That's a 23 out of 51.
Okay, so you do manage to fashion something to at least stop any, what you think, the onset of any infection that you might have, but without proper treatment soon, you may be at risk of, let's just call it gangrenous nature into the wound. And then, well, you've seen plenty of people around Sealburg that are missing legs and arms, so you know where this may lead someday if not treated properly. Regardless, though, while you were shifting through this man's raiments, you notice that in the dim light, as you move the corpse, one of the stones of your cell is sticking out just a little bit further than it should be. And it's behind the corpse that was laying there, obscured from anyone's vision.
As I fashion my little bandage, I'll, well, friend, looks like my adventuring days are over just like yours. And then I'll make my way over to that stone.
Yeah. Are you going to try to pry away the stone?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You grab a hold of it, and it is, in fact, it's loose. And you easily pull it away. And as you pull it away, you see two things tucked away inside of this little cubbyhole. You see a small, sharpened rock. It looks like it could be used as a knife, a shiv. And you also see a thin piece of metal that has been filed down. And, you know, giving your experience in life, though you've never mastered the techniques yourself, you've seen certain people, especially the ones that you've captured alive, attempt to pick a lock, perhaps, out of any manacles or shackles they might have about their person. And this looks like it may do a similar fashion.
All right. Finding those things, I will probably, I guess, rest. I imagine I'm somewhat tired and a little sore from this torture I just received.
Indeed.
But then after some time, I'll probably try to like stand up or make my way over to the door.
All right. You attempt to stand, and you cannot put any weight on your wounded leg. You move to put weight on it, and you... it hurts too bad to move properly, which means that unless you fashion some kind of crutch, you are not going to be able to walk like a normal person.
Which, is Seamus smart enough to fasten a crutch, or is it even possible to fasten a crutch out of that guy's bones?
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check, and we'll see how this goes.
I critted. That's an 11.
Okay.
Out of 41.
All right, Seamus, you know, you're desperate right now. Ironically, you have a very good knowledge of knots and like rope, just due to your change from profession to bounty hunting. And it takes some time, but you shift yourself over back to the body of the dead man, and you take long strips of his clothing And I'd say about an hour passes as you begin to make essentially rope with his clothing. And in doing so, you manage to break away some of the longer bones of, and this would be a very grisly thing to do if it was anyone but Seamus, as he's very experienced with death and, of course, dismemberment of the human body, and even without the aid of any cutting implements, this man's been dead for so long it easily comes apart. And using the longer bones and this makeshift rope, you do in fact, with a critical success, manage to fashion a de facto bone crutch for you to support yourself on. So, and it takes at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer, but you do fashion this crutch.
All right.
And are you moving over to the door?
I am.
All right, you move over to the door, you peer out, you see one of the similar shapes you saw before that you know to be one of the gatekeepers. One of the grave guard is present, facing away from you on the outside into this long hallway that you can't see the end of either side, mostly due to the fact that the torch is only illuminating the light in front of you.
Is he standing like in front of the door, like a couple feet away?
He's standing on this, essentially on the side of the door, like a sentry.
All right. I will keep my back like to that side of the wall, and wait for Gaston to come back.
Okay. All right. And as you're waiting, we will flip on over to Marius Wolf and Bragdine Bonneau. As day breaks, or at least what should be day, as it is still extremely dark, and in fact, it barely lightens up from night. You just know time has passed it as you feel more rested. The pilgrims begin to break camp, and Sir Tristan mounts his horse and waits for Marius Wolf to once again lead the way.
I will do so.
Quick question: do we
Yes.
receive any, recover any wounds from?
You go ahead and roll me your endurance test, and we'll see how many you recover, Bragdine. Marius doesn't need it.
Okay. Well, I failed the endurance test by
That's fine.
by
Then-
one failure. So toughness
That's fine.
bonus?
So you just get your toughness bonus.
Feel like I'm gonna need it. Thank you.
You might. You might indeed. You mount up on your horse, Bragdine. Marius, I'm assuming you're walking still?
Yes.
Yes. And you are leading the pack. It takes a little bit of time, but you come to the entrance of this crevasse that apparently leads through this section of the mountains. And you can tell it's fairly well traveled. You begin to take the path set forward. Go ahead and give me perception test, Bragdine and Marius.
All right.
Ooh, that's a failure.
Marius got 25 out of 57.
Okay. You have your eyes peeled for movement, Marius. And a few hours pass, and it is almost claustrophobic. It's only 10, 15 feet wide, this little crevasse, and it goes up at odd angles on the sides, almost as if this once was some kind of flowing river, or God knows what it was in the olden times. It looks unnaturally cut, though, as if it was shaped and moved by someone's will. And you walk across the remnants of dead things, skeletons and the like, several times. Not humanoid, but mostly creatures. And you don't see signs of any life, and the darkness is oppressive. But after a few hours, Marius, you start to see that it appears there's light ahead, but it doesn't look right. It looks mute, as if it's enshrouded with like smoke. But as you keep walking, and you would see this as well, Bragadine, you notice there's a wall of fog ahead of you. Thick, white fog. And you can tell that there is light somewhere within this fog, and due to the nature of fog itself, it's almost blindingly bright. Are you entering?
I think there's trouble up ahead, gentlemen.
Are you sure this is the way, Marius? Although I don't see any other way at this point.
Yeah, I believe so. It appears to be well traveled. Someone keeps on going in and out of here.
Let us move on then.
You begin to press
Mr.
forward.
Tristan?
Yes.
Did Sir Tristan say anything?
So Tristan just nods his head
Okay.
in deference to your knowledge.
Bragadine told the men to stick close to one another.
Now, men, gather close. Watch over your companion's shoulder.
As you go to say that, Bragadine, you notice that they mostly have kind of tucked in, very close, just due to the nature of your current surroundings. You pass a hand through the smoke or fog, whatever it is, Marius, and it's cold, it's chilled, but you don't feel any pain. And then you begin to walk inside. The rest of you begin following suit, and one by one, all of the men disappear into this wall of fog. You can only see a few feet around you, Marius, and it is bright now. Very bright. It's strange how this fog is reflective. But you manage to follow the direction of where the light is coming from. And after about 10 minutes, all of a sudden you pass through the fog. Or at least where it's thick. And suddenly it begins to thin out. And you see a vast space ahead of you. You see there are several torches that make a path all the way to, it looks like, 6 mounds that are gargantuan, huge mounds that are tucked away in what you assume this must be some kind of valley here in the mountains. Your feet are beginning to sink in deep black mud that you'd recognize identical to the remnants you've seen smattered across the foul creatures you've encountered thus far. And each of these mounds appears to have stone circles atop it, ancient, archaic. Some of them have symbols upon them. You can't see all the details, as you are still probably another 30-40 minute walk till you make it to the first mound. But you do see that there is, apparently one of the mounds has a door that you can see from this direction that is ajar, open wide. as the rest of the men group in behind you. What are we doing?
I guess going to the closest one.
You men
To
back there,
investigate.
ready torches.
I want to keep an eye on the ground, being extra cautious.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess unless I see something that would indicate Seamus in some way, like I would probably head to the closest one. Just to,
Okay. Go ahead and give me an outdoor
Try to-
survival check.
Okay. That's a 19 out of 51.
Okay. You see, as you're glancing around the ground, Marius, that there are clumps of also vegetation. Looks like some kind of moss. And it's growing in weird patches. And you can tell, Marius, as you glance over, that those patches are obscuring bodies, corpses. You see bone-white fingers and toes sticking out from underneath them. And they're everywhere. This entire area is full of corpses. You don't know what happened here. But this is a place of death. And you can see where there are, with that survival roll, there are several places where the mud is so thick, it looks almost glossy. And if one was to step inside, they might become a part of this fetid ground. And so you are able to lead your companions with a very pivotal role around most of these vast pits and up to the entrance of the beginning of the mounds. Now, these mounds are identical, so it's up to you which one you venture towards. The one on your left, there is a door. It is closed. The one on your right, the door is ajar. And you see one more thing as you come closer, Marius. You see there is a wooden stake just about 10 feet from the door that's ajar. And there's something that has been spitted atop it. The stake is about 6 feet tall. And something is dangling from the top of the wooden spike.
Can I discern what it is? Is it a person or?
It's not a person, it's small. But are you leading them closer?
Yeah, probably. I see something that catches my attention.
You begin to walk closer, Marius, and the rest of them are following, as you have been leading the party thus far. You get to within about 10 feet or so, and you can tell it's a small metallic object. You make your way all the way to the spit, Marius. You glance up, because it's a little bit taller than your just normal view. It's definitely metal. There's something about it's familiar, though.
Can I get it down?
Okay, you
Take a
reach
look at
up
it.
and you grab a hold of it, and you kind of shift it up off the spike. As you pull it down and look at it, it is the cracked and broken mask of Seamus McCready.
And this is right next to one of the mounds.
It is right next to one of the mounds, and there is an open entrance.
I'll take the mask and grimly show it to Braggadine.
And as
Mercy of the
you
lady.
as you move to show it, Braggadine, go and give me a perception test.
All right. Ooh. I failed it by sight. I succeeded by hearing.
How much?
It's a 64 out of 61 or 64 out of 81.
Out of 81. Got it.
Yeah.
Bragadine, after a few moments, you hear feet. You hear people or something moving off in the fog around you. No one else seems to have noticed it.
Do I hear a direction?
It's coming
do
from
I just hear...
where you just came from and all around you, except for the direction of the mound.
There's Sir Tristan, we're not alone here. Do you hear that? I hear to the left, behind us and to our flanks. I hear. Is it a shuffling? Or is it just?
It sounds like shuffling. It sounds like
I hear
many things moving around.
Sounds. We are surrounded by something. It sounds perhaps men, but it's. I think we should. I think we should go forward or prepare ourselves.
Right.
You go ahead.
Believe this could be where Seamus is. Let's venture forth. I don't want to stay out in this cursed battlefield any longer than any of you.
You begin to move towards the mound, Marius. And Marius, I need you to give me a dodge roll.
Oh, all right. 34 out of 50.
All right, Marius, you see something barely ahead of you. It takes you a moment to notice what's happening because it's not in your direct line of sight. You have to look up, and something launches itself off the mound. It's about the size of a small man, and it launches itself through the mists, and as it does, it screams, and its flesh is green and pallor, but the arms look elongated for a human, and its back is hunched. And it has a bone club in its hand, and each of its teeth are long, elongated points that are open wide as the smell of rotting flesh wafts over you. And this ghoul swings its bone weapon, and you nimbly duck beneath as it passes by you. And I need everyone to roll me initiative.
Oh boy, all right.
Oh, okay, excellent. Bragadine's quick on his feet, and he rolled a 12.
Okay. Marius?
Marius rolled 14. Quicker on his feet.
Oh, braggart.
All right, Marius, as the crypt ghoul passes overhead and fumbles behind you, you're a few paces away from everyone else. Bragadine, in this moment, as you glance around, you see that upon the screech and howl of the ghoul in the lead, you see many shapes begin to scramble out of the nearby mist, all in a similar fashion. These hunched creatures, these men that are moving at a quick pace on all fours, each of them clutching strange assortments of weapons. All appear to be made from broken and fashioned bones in a very primitive fashion, though some of them have no weapons at all and just have these long, elongated talons across their hands, their fingers. And you have stumbled into the hunting territory of a tribe of crypt ghouls. Marius, you are
Not good.
first to act. There is a ghoul behind you that you can see. The mound with the open door is also just right ahead, about 10 paces from you. So 10 feet to the mound's entrance. Or you can begin fighting.
Okay.
It's up to you.
I'll probably try to kill this crypt ghoul, or at least tack it.
Okay.
The one that's right behind me,
Yeah, go ahead and make me an attack roll.
if I can. Okay. That's a 12 out of 70.
How much damage is that total?
Let me see. $18 damage. Plus piercing.
Okay. You, and then just spit this creature through its back before it has a chance to react, and it cries out and bleeds. Thick, nasty blood spills out, and the creature spasms for a moment before it falls still. And as far as you know, it's dead. As you rip your pick free.
As I do so, I'm gonna shout out to Bragdine and Sir Tristan, because they're the only ones that can understand me. Make way for the door! I'll try to hold him off. And I'm just going to kind of like try to defend as many people as I can, trying to get inside the door.
Okay, are you planting your feet, or are you running ahead? Are you running to meet the ghoul's charge?
Probably, like, I'm kind of probably trying to plant my feet and kind of, like, usher people towards me.
Okay.
Probably not trying to go deeper into the mist.
All right. Alrighty then. All right.
Trying to shuffle, get people to come this way.
Yeah, you plant your feet firm, Marius, as you shout out to Bragadine and to Sir Tristan, and the Grail Knight is the first one to act before you, Bragadine, as he wheels his horse about, and let's see here. Yeah, easily. Two ghouls launch themselves up at him as he's mounted, and he, with almost a flick of his wrist, Bragadine slices two of them in half in a very quick succession as they fall limp on either side of his horse. And he calls out, "Men, to the door!" And he also pulls the horse in the direction of Marius Wolf. Dismounts, seeing the door, slaps the rear of his horse, who then begins to run off, and about faces next to Marius, facing away. And Bragadine, it is your turn.
All right. Did Tristan just call them? I know Mary.
Tristan
tried, but
did.
Tristan just. He didn't call them
in
Okay.
Bretonian.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's what I was about to do. All right. Free action. I'm going to pull my sword out from my offhand.
Okay.
But I was going to. I'll still do it. As I don't know if this will be a leadership check here, but come on, man, form up around me, and we will so that we may make it safely downstairs. Do not forget,
Yes.
we have the blessed of the lady fighting with us.
Yes. Give me that leadership roll, Bragadine.
All right.
I'm into it.
Come on. Oh, it is a 30 out of 70. 4 levels of success.
Okay, Bragadine, you begin shouting out orders, and there's something about the timbre of your voice that these peasants just respond to. It's unnatural. And even the pilgrims begin to fall in line. The men-at-arms take place in front of you and begin moving ahead, and very quickly the remaining people out in the mist begin moving past Marius and Tristan as you pass in to just the edge of the entrance of the mound. It is now the ghouls' turns. And Marius, your eyes go a little wide. I need you to give me a cool test. Well, Tristan needs to make one as well.
Oh boy. Hopefully Sir Tristan doesn't freak out. That's 27 out of 65.
Okay. Your eyes go a little wide as you see numerous amounts of these ghouls come spilling out of the mist. You see at least 30 ghouls begin running towards you from all sides, except for the entrance of the mound.
Oh, shit.
And there's probably more behind them. Regardless, Sir Tristan looks unfazed. If anything, his jaw is set firm. And let me see how many can reach you. Two of them scramble just a bit further ahead, Marius, and both of them launch at you, and they have this elongated jump as they lunge. I need you to... Here's the thing. You can either dodge and completely avoid a blow, or you can attempt to block with your weapon, but you will have to make a strength check afterwards to keep your footing.
Can I use my momentum?
On the check, no.
On the check now?
But for the defense, yes.
I'll probably for the defense then I'll use my momentum. I'll use my pick.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a block.
My block is a 54 out of 90.
All right. Go ahead and make one more.
That's a 60 out of 90. It's a crit if that matters.
It will. It will. So the first one goes to latch onto you, Marius, and it kind of hits on the butt end of the pick as it latches on in this elongated jump. And the other one jumps, and you use the momentum of the first one to pivot the pick, and it spits itself on the actual spike, and it and falls limp. However, the weight is still upon you. I need you to make me a strength check at -20.
Okay. That is going to be a... Ooh, shit. That's a 50 out of 50.
That is lucky. That is very lucky, Marius, as you're pushed back and you feel your feet sink just a little bit into the mud. And you feel like you're about to bowl over, but you keep your ground and then push the ghoul off of you. And that's all it can do. However, you look over at Sir Tristan. Let's see. Holy shit, man. Okay. Sir Tristan has a shield. He does have a shield on him, and he has his longsword held in one hand, and it is, of course, decorated and embroidered with strange markings. And you see the light in his eyes just glow even a little bit brighter than it has before, as he bats aside two ghouls easily with his shield, and they don't even get a chance to grab onto him as he throws them off wide. You see them fly overhead, Marius. The next two ghouls that try to launch from behind him as they scamper around, he similarly cleaves them in two, as he did before on his horse.
Shit.
spitting them through. Just very quick movements. And the last one moves to lunge, and he fully takes it on his shield as the teeth sink around and attempt to bite into his arm as he butts down. And though he seems to stumble back a few paces, he keeps his footing and then throws the ghoul off as it sloughs into the oncoming horde as they're running towards you. And he is free of anybody near him. And that is the end of the ghoul's turn, which brings us up to Marius Wolf.
How far away are we from the door?
You are 10 feet from the door.
And there's still at least one ghoul in melee range with me, right?
There's one in melee range with you.
Okay. I will attack that one.
Okay.
And
go ahead and make me an
see
attack
what
roll.
Happens and then, okay. That's a 45 out of 110.
You got any fortune?
Do I got any fortune? Do I need a crit? Did you roll
It's
a crit?
like you might need a crit to defend this.
Oh, shit. Well, I do have fortune. I'll take it. I'll roll the fortune just in case. I got a good chance.
All right, all right.
110. I didn't get it.
All right.
Let's see. 68.
All right. Do you have any armor on your head, Marius?
I do. I got 1 point of coif.
Okay. Would you like to sacrifice your last remaining point of coif?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess so, you bastard.
All right. As the ghoul jumps up and you try to batter it aside nimbly, the thing is unnaturally lithe, and you're just a little bit off with your strike as it rakes its teeth through the side of your face. In so doing, shatters the chainmail that you were wearing. The coif shatters off of your person. You only take 8 wounds, which you can reduce with your toughness and the 1 piece of armor before it's shattered.
Okay.
But I need you to make me an endurance test.
Okay. So, check my health real quick. Endurance check. That's a 16 out of 65.
Okay. Marius, you, as it pulls away and it runs past you, and it runs back into the mist, trying to attempt to flee from you. You feel black ichor slide down your face where it struck you, and you get the idea that its bite and its weapons and claws may or may not be coated with death. And you manage to not succumb to any poisonous influences as the creature stumbles away.
If that's the only one that was in melee, I'll probably back up to the door's entrance.
Okay. You back up, and the rest of the crew is there currently. Yeah. Bragadine, I will say, are you dismounting from the horse? Because the horse will not fit.
Oh, I'm off the horse now.
Okay, you're off the horse. What are you going to do with the horse, Bragadine?
Slap its rump and tell it to run for its life.
Okay, you slap it away. And it and Seamus's horse as well runs off. Are you doing anything else with your turn, Marius, before we move on to Bragadine?
I'll probably just yell towards Sir Tristan, "Hurry, Sir Tristan!" And then that's probably it. Trying to probably hold the door open to let him in and then close it if I can.
Okay.
If it's a closable door. I don't know if it is.
You move to the door. It's a thick piece of stone. It's about 2 feet wide, or 2 feet deep. Excuse me. It's very wide.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same door that Seamus passed through not so long ago. But you move to it, and you're a strong man. You can probably leverage your weight and be able to pull this thing closed if you need to. So you get the idea. You could probably get it closed. But you call out to Sir Tristan, and he glances back over his shoulder. And technically it's his turn, so he begins to, still facing the horde, begins to backpedal towards the rest of you. Now, Bragadine, it is your turn. What are you doing, Bragadine?
All right. Are they between me and the door?
Technically, for practical purposes, no. They are going to be they're going to be at the back of all these people since they were moving to protect them.
All right. I'm gonna snatch a torch from one of the men-at-arms that I said ready torches earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go inside. Wait, can I? Is the door open enough for me to? I thought you said it was about 2 feet. Or
No,
did I
it's 2
misunderstand?
feet deep. The actual stone door itself, it is ajar. So yes, all of you can easily fit your way inside this door.
All right. I jump in and I say, "Come on, then."
All right,
tell
you
them to follow
move the
behind
torch in, and unfortunately, I need you to make a roll. I wish I didn't have to have you make the roll because I just want you to just fail, but you have a sixth sense that I don't like. And I need you to make me an intuition test, Bragadine.
All right. Ooh, I rolled a 5, so I'm pretty
God
sure
damn
that
it.
my 6 cent paid off.
Yes, it did.
Got a 61.
Bragadine, you moved a step forward, and you see this really thin razor wire, just about ankle level. As you move to, and you're in a quickened pace, you probably wouldn't have seen it. Seamus saw it because he was slowly investigating. But unfortunately, Mr. Bonneau, always, especially after numerous attempts on his life, is always on edge. And he sees the trap before he sets it off.
Hold, where, man? Be careful not to touch that. And I will step over it and hope the men-at-arms right behind me do the same.
Okay.
Marius, beware, there's a wire at the bottom. As I yell it back up.
Okay. Easily done. You begin moving down the hallway? And it is just a long hallway.
Maybe 10, 15 feet. Enough for the... there's only 5 of them left, right?
Yes,
Men-at-arms.
5 of them plus
And
plus
yeah.
Marius and Tristan.
And just kind of get down there and wait for the 2 up top to come down.
Okay, and your men-at-arms are right behind you, and then you have the pilgrims plus plus Marius and Sir Tristan. So you get down enough space that you think that'll be easily comfortably for them to fit down here. And it is you can stand at least two abreast in this tunnel.
Okay,
it's not super cramped.
I'm gonna hand my torch back to whoever I grabbed it from, and I'm gonna draw my sword again.
Okay.
Just so I feel a little bit better that way.
All right, you draw your sword, and the men-at-arms, he takes the torch, and your men-at-arms do have halberds, so they are not adequately using them if they are holding torches. But that's neither here nor there. Regardless, you move into the space, and that will bring us to the ghouls. As they are closing in on the entrance now, Marius. Let's see how many try to lunge at you.
Oh boy.
Okay, Marius, this is bad. I'm not going to lie. They begin closing in on you.
Oh no.
and you see a large cluster of them especially as you and Tristan have been slaying these creatures as they come running towards you. And you can see there's a bit of cowardice in quite a few of them. But a cluster of about 8 ghouls run up and begin to try to circle around you. Once again, if you decide to block with your pick, you will have to make strength checks after all of this. So you tell me what you want to do.
Okay. Is the thought that they would all 8 would be piled on me?
They are going to attempt to pile and drag you down and eat you. So you would probably could probably assume that at this point.
I guess I'll dodge then.
Okay, it's up to you.
You
do you.
Isn't that strong?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take a dodge. Question.
Yes.
I got hit last time.
Yes.
Does that fully reset my momentum, or is it
just -1?
It's -1. Okay. All right. Then I'll roll dodge. Rolling
All right.
dodge.
Go ahead and give me a dodge roll.
That's a 29 out of 80.
Okay, the first one easily you pull your foot back as a claw tries to swipe out from under you. Give me your next one.
All right. That's a 60 out of 90.
Okay, let's see here. All right, let me see where this hits.
Oh.
All right, the chest, Marius. The second ghoul lunges for the chest and smacks you across the chest with a serrated, looks like a femur bone that has been serrated, and there's black venom dripping off of it. And he carves into your chest piece. Do you want to sacrifice a piece of chest armor?
Is it a crit?
It is a crit.
Then yeah, I'll have to sacrifice the last piece of my boiled chest piece.
Okay, is it slices?
So the chainmail, but
you still have the chain, so yeah, it slices through the chest piece. Let's see if it still hits you. That's only. It's only 9 wounds. Does that penetrate?
It does hurt. It does.
Okay.
It does penetrate.
All right. It just nicks the flesh underneath, which means you need to make me an endurance test.
All right. 34 out of 65.
Okay. You still manage to slug off any effects of the venom. It is getting a harder test each hit you take, though.
Oh boy. All right.
So you're -1 momentum now.
Okay.
But you were at +1, so I guess you're just where you were before. So, but your next dodge, Marius, unless you want to start using your pick to balance yourself.
No, probably still
Okay.
a few more dodges. But I got 8 more to go, or 5 more to go. You know.
Yep.
So,
Go ahead and make me a dodge roll.
next dodge is going to be a 16 out of 80.
Okay, yeah, you easily pull aside that one as well. Give me another one.
Oh, we still do another dodge. That one's a 51 out of 90.
This one, however, hits Marius.
Oh!
Dang it.
Is it a crit?
They're all piling up around you. So as they're lunging in and out, this one is going to hit across your left arm as it scrapes with these nasty serrated claws. It only does 7 wounds. Does that even penetrate?
It doesn't penetrate.
Okay, so it hits, but so you lose some momentum, but
Okay.
it doesn't break the skin. It scratches off of the armor.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and make me another dodge, Marius.
How many are left?
Let's see here. There are 2 left.
2 left. I'll probably use my pick now.
Okay, go ahead and give me your blocks with your pick.
Okay. 37 out of 100.
Okay, yeah, easily. You catch this one on the haft. Go ahead and make me one more.
That's a 80 out of 110.
All right, that is just similar fashion to what happened before. The second creature lunges at you, and you manage to this time shift some weight and have it smash its head across the blunt side of the top of the pick, and it's moving with such momentum that it just caves in the skull. It crunches into nothing, and it just kind of spills over the top of you. However, it still counts towards the strength check you need to make.
All right. Well, strength.
Minus 20.
2 out of.
Oh,
2
it's
out
not
of
going to
50.
matter. You're fine. So you manage to stabilize your feet and then throw off the two, one limp body and one scrambling around ghoul as they lands on its feet and begins scrambling away. And that is it for them on you. However,
And I'm gonna whenever they're done, or like whenever it's my turn, and Tristan's inside, I'm gonna pull the door closed.
okay. So Tristan, it looks like he parries aside 2 blows with these bone-like weapons easily enough. A third, he thrusts his sword through the throat of one of the ghouls, and it gurgles and bubbles as it slides off. The fourth, however, digs into his right calf, and you hear him cry out as a piece of the armor gets sloughed away. Some of the plate breaks away and flies off into the muck, and he takes a few steps back, also receiving a critical wound. And that brings us all the way at the top of the round with Mary Swolf.
Yeah, I'll probably just. The way I have it kind of vision, I'm like at the door right now.
You are.
And I'm just gonna hold my action until he gets in to close the door.
Okay.
If I can. If there's no ghouls in the way of me closing the door. I don't know.
That's fine. So you're holding that, and as soon as Tristan, it's his turn right after yours. He will immediately begin to back into the mound itself. I'm going to need you to make me a strength check, Marius.
Okay. That is 6 out of 70.
God bless. Marius Wolf. May the lady show her favor always.
Hell yeah, bro.
As Marius grabs a hold and his muscles begin to flex. And this several 100-pound door, it begins to creak and begins to move. And as you begin to move it, Sir Tristan turns around and also grabs a hold. There's like almost like it looks like there should have been a place to put a piece of wood or something to keep this door closed. That there's marks in the stone where there used to be plates. You grab a hold of one, and Tristan grabs a hold of the other. And as soon as he grabs a hold of it, Marius, it easily swings inward. Between the two of you, it easily, boom, slams shut. And it sounds like you crushed 1 or 2 ghouls as you did so. Yeah. And for a moment, the room is darkened as the gust of wind from the door almost flickers some of the torches out, but they resume bright once again. And you are within the Black Mounds. Deep, deep in the mountains of far-off Bretonia. And we're going to flip over to Seamus McCready. Seamus, you hear a loud boom thud reverberate down the hall from God knows where. Everything echoes in here. You hear screaming, you hear fighting, you hear snarls, but it's all distant. Are you going to do anything, Seamus?
If I pop up and look out my little window view, see if that grave guard is still standing there.
He is currently still standing there, completely unmoving. If you didn't know he was there, you would think it was just a decorative suit of armor.
Does the door open inwards to the cellar?
The door opens outwards.
Would he be standing on the side that the door would hit?
Oh, let's roll. Let's see here. Odds are even, Seamus. Odds are even.
Ooh, evens.
He's standing in the direction the door would swing, Seamus.
Ooh, all right, so then Seamus is going to try to pick this lock.
Okay, go ahead, and since you don't have lockpick, do you have sleight of hand?
I don't have that either.
Okay, just give me a dex check.
Don't you have like breaking entering or something like that?
I did not purchase.
He did not take that. Otherwise, this would have been a much easier check.
Yep, I took shadow instead. What was it? A dex?
It's going to be dexterity. Yes.
Ooh, you know what? We're going to use my last fortune point.
Yeah, do that. Do it.
Oh, ooh, that's a 26 out of 30.
Oh yes. Seamus McCready, against all odds, you begin to fumble within the lock, and you make noise, significant noise. However, the sentry standing guard appears to have no motion as you begin to clink and clatter around inside the lock. And after about 10 minutes, you hear a and you can feel the lock give way and the door begins to swing outward. What are you doing, Seamus?
Does it look like the door will hit said guard?
If you push it hard enough, it might.
Oh yeah, we're gonna use all of our strength.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength
Slam
check.
this door open. Hit this grave guard. Oh, that's a 50 out of 40.
No. You don't have any fortune left, do you?
No, I only have 2 points and I spent them.
Yep. So you push your shoulder into it and it's awkward on your crutch. And when you do so, it opens, but it doesn't move with the force that you want it to. As it clatters into the sentry, you see the old armor begin to move and shift around the side. What are you doing, Seamus?
Oh, I assume my movement is severely limited.
You are at half movement.
Yep. Well, I was like, oh, fuck. And, not knowing what this thing is, try to, like, pop its head off or something.
Okay. How are you going to pop its head off? That's what I want to know.
Grab it and just rip its head off.
Okay, you move to grab it.
I assume I can't stab it with my shiv.
You can try to stab it with your shiv. It's a skeleton.
And it's a skeleton, so I don't see that working.
It has a large club at its side that it has not reached for yet. It also has a shield that is kind of attached to its armor.
I want to try and pick up that club then.
Okay, you go to reach for the club. It reaches down and grabs the club as well. Go ahead and give me a strength check to see if you can pry it out of its cold, dead fingers.
That's a 55 out of 40.
Okay, critical fail, I might add. Critical fail. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
37.
37. So, if you had a weapon, it would have damaged, been broken in some way, but you do not. So, unfortunately, you only lose your turn. Your next turn. That would have been what would have been your next turn. I've got a feeling it might not matter though. You're at a minus 20 to dodge rolls because you only have one useful leg.
Yeah.
And you, unless you can block with your shiv, if you can explain to me how you're going to block this club with your shiv, you're going to have to attempt to dodge at minus 20. It's up to you. You can, if you can finagle something.
No, the only thing I can think of is if I like roll a crit and like cut its hand off.
Okay, well, go ahead and defend yourself in some way as it's going to lash out with the club and attempt to put you down.
All right. I want to try this dodge because it's wearing heavy armor. Yeah, that's a failure. That's a 64 out of 17.
How many levels of failure is that?
Lots.
28, 38, 48, 58. 4 levels?
4, I think. Yeah.
Ironically, Seamus, you move to dodge the incoming blow, and as you do, you lose your footing, and your crutch goes out from underneath you, and you fall backwards, and as you do, the club wishes over your head as apparently the helm was slightly obscuring some of the view of this graveguard, and it smashes into the wall next to you. It cracks one of the stones as it pulls back, and with your badly fail, you are technically prone in this moment, and you unfortunately don't get to take your turn, and it gets to try to crush you now. So I need you to defend yourself.
All right. Is there another penalty for being on the ground trying to like dodge?
It's the same as
Crawling backwards?
the leg, so you're fine.
Okay. All right. I'll try to crawl away.
Try to crawl away from me.
I'm consistent. This is a 58 out of 17.
Okay. I can't hit for shit as the the ridiculous Seamus right now in this moment just, I mean, by the skin of his teeth rolls around on one side and the club smashes where he previously was. Yeah, I rolled, and on top of that, some of the wooden club actually cracks a little bit as I critically failed the attack roll. So Seamus, it's your turn now. You are currently engaged with a grave guard.
This is the
I'll
best
get up. I will get up, and the shield's attached to its armor.
Yeah, it's almost like fused with its left arm.
All right, I guess I'm gonna keep trying to get this club out of his hands.
Go ahead and well, actually, give me an attack roll, and then we'll see if you even now that he has his senses.
So that is melee basic.
Yes, just melee basic.
48 out of 60.
You managed to latch on to the hand holding the club. Now go ahead and give me a strength check.
Come on, big money. Ooh, yes, this is going to be close. That is going to be a 37 out of 40.
All right, Seamus, you begin to pry, and you And as you do, one of the fingers pops off and falls to the ground, and you are holding a wooden club in one hand.
Yes.
And the creature, the Graveguard, now without its primary weapon, is going to try to bash you over the head with the shield arm.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try and block it with this club.
Go ahead and block it, if you can.
Yeah, that is a 10 out of 60.
All right.
Or 45,
yes.
if it's just
good
weapon skill.
Yes, indeed, and you do get your momentum. So you do manage to parry aside the shield blow as he moves in. You parry it aside. Go ahead and make your attack, Seamus.
Oh yeah. All right. Oof, that's a 64 out of 70.
However, Seamus, you go to bring it down, and it shifts the shield back into place, and it smacks firmly. You lose one momentum, and it is now the Graveguard's turn. Go ahead and make your defense roll, Seamus.
All right. Oh, that's a 90 on the block. 90 out of 60.
Let me roll for this. This is going to be hilarious. Yeah, okay. So as you move to block, the shield comes down and kind of smacks the club aside, but in doing so, the Graveguard shifts its momentum in such a way that it stumbles into you. Almost knocks you completely off balance with your one leg, but he is out of position. And he is going to suffer penalties on his next action. Damn it. Go ahead and make your attack now, Seamus. You one-legged man.
Yeah. Oh, that was a 14 out of 60.
All right. You club him across the left arm, which is the arm with the shield, unfortunately. How much damage do you do?
It was 4 success levels. Is it a strength-based weapon?
Well, yes. So you add your strength to it. Plus
So,
your
8.
if you have any proficiency.
No.
It's a +4
That with
weapon
clubs.
is what it is.
So yes, my strength is a 4.
It's a +4, so that's 8 right there. Plus how many
So
success levels?
8 plus another 4, so 12.
12. Okay. Yeah, you actually do some damage. You clink into it, and with it being a bludgeoning weapon, you actually hear a little bit of give on the inside. You're actually doing damage. It is now the Graveguard's turn. Defend yourself, Seamus.
All right. That is a 52 out of 70.
And it just can't penetrate as it tries to move the shield in again, and you batter it aside. Make your attack.
Oh, I'll try and finish him off. Oof, that's a 15 out of 80.
Okay. Once again, going for that left arm. Total damage, Seamus?
Let's see, that is 8,
Should be 14.
6, yeah, 14.
14 wounds as you smack into him, and you're doing damage as it kind of crumples to the side. It's still very much standing, however, and it hasn't made a sound this entire time. All right, and defend yourself.
66 out of 80.
Go ahead and roll me a D100, Seamus.
Woo!
Hell yeah, brother.
Woo! A 93.
93. Okay. You sweep down low and smack across the Graveguard's right knee and peel away a bunch of the armor as it shifts low. It's still standing. As it goes down to a knee, it stands back up. It is your attack, though, I believe.
Alright, I'm trying to just keep bashing this thing up. 32 out of... I think I'm at a 90 now. Yeah.
Well, you defended... You should be at 100, I think.
Yeah. Seamus McCready, how do you want to do this?
Ooh. As it tries to get back up off its one leg, I'm just gonna, good night, and just swing it down on top of its head, try to crush its head.
All right, you swing it down, and you swing it down with prestigious strength in this moment, and you crunch into the helmet as it crunches into the skull, and you see the light in its eyes flicker for a moment and then go out, and then the bones and armor just crumple to the floor about you.
I'm gonna look around, make sure nothing's coming, and walk away.
You begin walking away. I'm assuming you pick up your crutch that you need to walk with, and your skeleton crutch, and you begin hobbling off. After a few moments, Seamus, down this hall, you're hearing echoing of people screaming in the distance. You see a flickering light in a door up ahead after you've been walking for about 10 or 15 minutes. What would you like to do?
Can I hold my shiv in my other hand, or is it too much?
You can attempt it. It's going to be difficult when it comes to combat, but we'll see.
I probably won't think, because I still have the crutch I have to deal with. But I will try to stealthily see what the screaming is coming from, since I heard a loud boom.
Yeah, go give me a stealth check at -20.
Ooh, that's a 71 out of 17.
So you think you're being stealthy, Seamus, but as you're moving, your crutch is clanking against the side of the wall. Everyone knows you're there. But you begin approaching the doorway, and you see flickering light inside. And you get to the door, and it is ajar. You glance inside.
Slowly.
There's a crack in the door as it's just slightly ajar. You glance inside. You don't see any movement. You do see a familiar stone slab in the center. Looks a lot like the place where you were tortured.
Poke my head in, I don't see anybody. I'm gonna walk into this room, look for my stuff.
Yep. You kind of open the door further, look around, don't see anyone initially. Go and give me a perception test, Seamus.
A 12 out of 51.
Okay. You don't see anybody yet. As you glance around, your eyes move immediately to your belongings. The mask is gone. The sword is gone. Your armor and your pistols are present.
Alright, well, first thing, load a pistol.
All right. You begin to load your weapons. Are you donning your armor?
Yeah, I'll load the gun first in case somebody walks in, and then once the first gun's loaded, start donning the armor.
Okay. All right. And it takes some time to do all this, but eventually you do get everything in place as it best you can with your shattered leg. What are you doing?
All right. Is there anything highly unusual in this room, like bottles, vials?
There actually are an assortment of vials and things like that. You would have noticed as well, Seamus, during your torture session, that the necromancer was collecting your fingernails, and it looked like some kind of like glass container. As well, when he was cutting into your shoulder, he was collecting your blood. And he had set it on the on one of the tabletops, and you see a mark like as if something was sitting there in the dust, but is no longer present. But other than that, this room is full of books that Seamus probably cannot read, and other knickknacks and doodads that would make no sense to him.
Oh, all right then. I'll carry on then out of this room if I can't understand any of these books.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see which way Gaston came and left from this room. Is there only one door?
There's only one door, but you move back
Okay.
towards the door, Seamus, and somebody quickly begins to spill inside. His eyes lock with yours, and they go wide as Gaston is face to face with you. Oh dear.
Hello, old friend.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode of Rise of the Forsaken.
Oh man, I was on the edge of my seat.
So, yes.
It's a good place to end it, and I can think about what I want to do to him.
Exactly. You can think about what you're going to do to him. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Don't worry. So, man, heated session, boys. Heated session. Got intense.
Hot stuff.
Lots of stuff happened. Lots of things happened. Stuff and things. But favorite moments from the cast and crew. Let's start with old Marius Wolf.
I think I liked at the end there the Seamus graveyard fight. Was it wasn't the most like well choreographed fight, but it sounded like it's pretty down and dirty, slipping and falling and just two things beating the shit out of each other. Or trying to at least.
Exactly.
I liked it.
The one-armed man versus the one-legged man.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. How about old Seamus? How you doing over there?
I enjoyed Marius getting critted and losing more of his armor.
Yes. Favorite moment of mine as well.
Damn.
I feel like that's a campaign staple, along with the NPCs getting killed.
It is.
Marius gradually loses whatever armor he gets.
Yep, I'm getting closer and closer,
It's great.
Indeed it is. How about Monsieur Benoit?
Oh man, everything was Seamus. I was dying just from this terrible torture, but mainly at that last fight with the guard there. I think it's They Live where Roddy Piper has a fight with his buddy, and it's just the most pathetic fight. They're just kind of struggling to hit each other, and they're just like exhausted and just. That's what I pictured. It was from the time when you rolled that, just so shitty trying to hit him with the door. It just. I was dying. I was laughing. All right, that was good stuff. Pure comedy.
Yes, man. It was yeah. For me, let's see here. I enjoyed my torture session. I'm not gonna lie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was sadistic, bro.
Figured.
It was good.
It was
Sick
sadistic.
bastard, bro.
I'll get the
I
left
know,
one now.
sick like that. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the sesh. As far as viewer decisions go, I do have a doozy for you this time, since Sir Tristan did in fact make his resurgence for the lady. I would like to know from all of you out there watching, listening intently, especially all of you that have made it thus far to the end. I would like to know. You have a choice, essentially. Vampires, Vargulfs, or Crypt Horrors.
Oh.
Just give me a choice. One of the three. And we'll see
Damn.
how this goes.
None of them sound really great.
They all
I mean,
sound...
what about zombies?
They all sound fantastic to me. Those are your three choices, and I would just like to know what's going to be what. So we'll see here.
Take
We'll
it
see
all.
how this
I'm fighting
goes.
each other.
It's all going to be great, guys. Maybe they'll pick all three. Maybe we'll get a triple threat. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be great. Regardless, though, yes. Hope you enjoyed the session. I know we did. It sounds like we all had a pretty good time. As usual, I have been Jumbo Thick. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Rise of the Forsaken, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Have a good day.